Missouri State Fair Speedway roars back into life Sunday, August 19th for the 2012 Missouri State Championships. Join me, Brian Brown, driver of the Casey's General Store FVP Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps number 21 Sprint Car as ASCS Speedway Motors Warrior Region 360 Sprint Cars take to the historic half mile to race for the prestigious win. Drivers will battle it out during the final swing of the 3 nights for the Tompkins Industries Mo Can Shootout presented by Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps and Impact4800.com. Gates open at 4:30 with hot laps hitting the track at 5:30 and heat races starting at 6 o'clock. The ASCS Speedway Motors Warrior Region Sprints will also be joined by the Lucas Oil MLRA Late Models and A Modifieds. One big show with 3 big classes. Don't miss a minute of the action. Adult admission is $18 with seniors and military $15 and kids 6 to 12 only $8. For tickets, visit mostatefair.com or visit MissouriStateFairSpeedway.com for race information.
Welcome back to Track Talk, Sports Radio 810 WHB, RacinBoys Radio. I'm Scott. Troy's in studio. Kirk's in Knoxville. Hey, don't forget, McCarthy Chevrolet is the number 4 Chevrolet dealership in the country when it comes to certified used cars. If you don't think a new car is in your budget and you want to save a little money on a used car, no place better than McCarthy Chevrolet. Go out there and check them out. They've got great interest rates and plenty of inventory to choose from. And make sure that you look them up on McCarthyChevrolet.com if you want to go over their inventory or maybe look at some of their deals. Or if you want the hassle-free negotiations, you can do that online as well. Again, McCarthyChevrolet.com. Joining us on the show right now is a longtime friend of the RacinBoys, and I know he's feeling confident about his chances tonight up at the Knoxville Nationals. Brian Brown. Brownie, how you doing, my friend?
Not bad, guys. Just when you're on RacinBoys at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the Knoxville Nationals, you're in a good spot. So we're really looking forward to it, and I think we got as best opportunities we've ever had. I felt like on our qualifying night, we did what we needed to do on the qualifying piece. Got lucky in the heat race and just really weren't that great in the features. So we found some things in our car that we think was causing the issue, and hopefully I don't feel like there's anybody that has more experience at Knoxville this year, within the top 10 or so, and I feel like that if we go out and do our part, we definitely can have a chance.
Now, you've raced up here for several weeks here leading up to Knoxville, and you've really been fast up here. What can you take from your runs here at Knoxville, and you won several races here in the last 2 or 3 weeks that you can carry over to tonight?
I think anytime you can run Knoxville, especially with the new tire configuration and stuff like that, I think it's always a benefit. But that being said, those guys in the top, anybody in the A main doesn't care who won here 3 weeks ago or who won here last week or who won here last night. You don't get many opportunities to win the Knoxville Nationals, and it's going to be a go-for-broke type deal, and I think I've got the best team here as far as what are all the people that are working on, all the people that are supporting it. I feel like that I'm driving probably as best I've ever had in my career, so I don't see there's no reason why we can't win it. But you just it's a long race, 50 laps. You can't do anything stupid to put yourself. You can't lose it. You can't win it on the first lap. You can definitely lose it on even the first half of the race. So our goal going in is just to be in contention. Top 2, 3, 4 after the break, and then let the cards play out how they may. But I feel really confident, and probably even more confident today than I did starting on the pole in 2010 and starting 6th last year.
Brownie, let me ask you about this. When you were up there and you won the 410 360 race, the local race a couple weeks ago, the track conditions from them to now seem to be different. Even with the 360 Nationals, ASCS Nationals last week, we saw more of a curb up there, and that I can't remember really seeing curb like that up there. It usually doesn't. It was like a wall last night, I think, to steal a quote from somebody on the broadcast last night. What is the difference? What's going on with the track conditions, and how come we're building such a big curb up there right now, and how's that going to affect the race?
That's a good question. I think last night was probably the more like what we had seen throughout the year here at Knoxville, and other than other nights, I'm not really sure why. And I'm good friends with Chris Duncan, who does the track here, and I asked him. I said, why? What's going on there? And usually how they do it is like on on Wednesday night, wherever the cushion stops, they'll leave it there, and then they'll work the track down. And as Thursday goes, so it'll keep building back up to that spot. So I'm not really sure. They're not really sure why it keeps building such a, really a mean cushion. And it's not, typical of Knoxville. Even on the 360 piece, it was, it was a lot more of a cushion than it had been in past. And I think they tried some stuff last night, and they did, before the A main, they brought out
rolled it a lot.
A tiller. And they tilled that up, and then kind of knocked that down. And I think that's their plan tonight. If it gets too big, they're gonna do that. It just, when the cushion gets that tall and that mean at Knoxville at 140 mile an hour, it kind of takes the top out of play. Really, you got to start kind of cheating it and going across and
easing your way up to it a little bit, right?
Yeah, really, at 140 mile an hour, you hook that thing the wrong way, and your car's going towards the fence. It's not a good feeling, but I think tonight you're going to see more. Right now we're looking out over the track. They've got, they got a sheep's foot. They got 3 blades out here. There's nobody that wants a better track than the Duncans here at Knoxville. And I feel like tonight you're going to see more of what we've seen throughout the year. And I think that's will be an advantage to me.
Brownie, you're a guy.
You think that heavy rains?
Let me follow up with. I got to follow up with this. Do you think your style? Let's face it. You love putting monster sliders on people. We've seen you do it for years and years at every kind of racetrack. But the speeds that you're carrying at Knoxville, a guy like yourself, you have to be a little concerned about that cushion, the way that you like to really bury it down in that corner and slide it across the track. You talk about easing up to that corner, but when you're desperately trying to get around one of these fast cars and you've got to put the monster slide on there, that's when it really becomes difficult too, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and you hit the nail on the head. When you go to slide people here at Knoxville, you drive it straight across, like you're going to drive it through the fence, and then when you get close, you kind of turn it there, and But when there's a big cushion there that's a foot tall, that kind of really takes that whole option out of play. So you kind of got to have another idea or another plan. And another thing that's kind of been a little bit different too is there's been some water sitting on the bottom the whole week. In different spots, and guys go down and hit the berm and put slop out across there. So it's just been a non-typical Knoxville racetrack really all week, and I think it's kind of thrown everybody for a loop. And that's kind of, it's put us kind of off our base a little bit. We have a package that we feel like is really, really strong here at Knoxville, but then when they throw a big cushion in there, it just kind of changes. You got to kind of keep your car free enough that you can go against that cushion, but tight enough you can run the bottom. So it just it changes everything up a little bit. So you don't want to get too in depth of what happened the last couple nights when they're probably going to get it better, and you got to be really in your notebook from what you've gathered throughout the year. So it's just going to kind of be a wait and see, and that's the good part about not being able to race last night. We can kind of watch and see, and like I said, man, there's no race we want more, and you know how much this means to me and how much it means to our team. So we're going to watch and try to make the right adjustments and do our best.
What have you learned from the previous 250-lap races 2 years ago and last year that you can, put into tonight's run strategy-wise?
I think on the first one, in 2010, we were on the front row. I felt like I ran probably a pretty good race. I wouldn't say I ran my best race. I think I was the third fastest car there that night, and how it played out with Sammy crashing and shots blowing up, and me being what I was doing. If I wouldn't have blew a tire, I probably could have won it, but that didn't happen. I blew a tire. So I think on last year I felt like that maybe I got my car a little bit too tight in the first session, and I went from 6th to 13th, and then charged back to 7th in the last half. So I felt like that I got to keep my car free enough where I can race the first half, and the main thing is don't lose the race in the first half, and that's what we got to do. We just got to use our wing and different things, and maybe not tighten our car up so much mechanically, but let me do it with the wing and stuff if I need to do that.
Yeah. Hey, Brown, we've got motorsports columnist Troy Harrison in the studio. He wants to ask you a question, Troy.
Yeah, hey, Brian, you made a comment that was pretty interesting a little bit earlier. You said, obviously you can't win the race on the first lap, but you can sure as heck lose it. And it seems like at Knoxville we see somebody manage to lose it on the first lap at least every other year. When you're coming down for the start, biggest sprint car race of the year, you're starting upper mid-pack, are you looking for somebody that you've got a lot of confidence in to follow, or are you looking for a hole? I mean, what's your game plan to not lose it on the first lap?
That's a pretty good question for a guy just not being around much.
Yeah, been around a while.
Know what?
I've been around this for a day or two. Yeah.
There you go. No, I mean that's a really, really good question. especially when you go into turn one at Knoxville and, on the first lap of something, what you're really looking for, Troy, is you're looking for clean air, any way you can get it on your top wing, on your nose wing. And usually it'll be a guy on the bottom and a guy on the top. And usually a guy, if you can get to the bottom or, even through the middle, you just want to get your nose in some clean air where you can get your car turned, because I think that's what you'll see is there'll be a guy on the 6th, 8th, 10th row that tries to go in a million mile an hour trying to win the Knoxville Nationals on the last lap, and his car won't turn. And, on the first lap, there'll be a red flag, and then probably, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but 9 times out of 10 it does. And I think that's experience of just knowing no matter what, you just got to get your car turned in the first corner, and then once you get it turned, then you're pretty much home free. But it's just you get in there and you it's like the best way I can explain it. It's going. Everybody's probably did it who lives in the Midwest is going on a road and trying to stop, and your car just starts sliding because of ice, and you turn your wheel all the way to the left, but you're not turning, and that's kind of what it is when your car gets in dirty air, and it's not a good feeling. And then the main thing is, like you said, just you got to get through that first corner without any incident. But you also got to think, okay, if I go down here and cheat it through the middle, you got guys like Joey Saldana and Donny Schatz behind you that are going to be making so you just got to, all that stuff is kind of goes in your mind. And the cool thing about it is you got about a quarter of a second to think about what you're going to do, and then you got to do it and just live with it. So that's a cool part about our sport. Things change so much, and the track conditions and the air on the wings, and that's what makes them tough to drive, and that's what makes it really cool.
Yeah, see, the air on the wings is what I always forget about. My racing experiences in late models and stock cars, we were just always looking for a path where nobody would drive into us there. But
I was going to follow up when we talked about that on that start. You run down in there, and again back to kind of that cushion. If you hit that wrong too, that's going to throw the nose into the wall. There's so many things to think about. You want to make sure you got a lot of air on that nose wing as well. Make sure that thing pivots when it gets down into the corner.
Yeah, you definitely, and then that's the thing is I think the main thing is you just don't, because when you take off in turn 4, you don't have the speed. I think that's the biggest thing to plant the left rear, because the faster you go, the more the left rear keeps going down, and the more the car wants to turn, and that's when you don't have the speed going down the straightaways, that's another thing plays into effect. When you take off, if the straightaways are slick, you go down there and you don't have because your tires are up, you don't have the wing, the car into the ground in the back. So all these things play into effect. But the main thing is no matter if you got to go down there and give it some wheel, and to get it turned, you got to get it turned. You just got to get through that first piece. And I think Austin McCarl got crashed last year, and he was a rookie. And there's just things that you learn from being 33 years old and being here all these years that that you can take from it, and just try not to crash on the first lap.
Right.
A lot of people 2 years ago, people were complaining about these Goodyear tires. Have they got that sorted out now? Is that even an issue that anybody talks about now? What do you think about that?
It's. I think they've got the lasting piece taken care of. For the last month, there's been a shortage on tires just because I don't really believe that they're going to come back after this year, and everybody's kind of they wanted to make sure they had enough tires for the Goodyear Knoxville Nationals. Obviously, they wanted to make sure there wasn't a shortage then. So for the last month, when we go to a race, you're allowed to get one right rear and one left rear. I mean, sometimes they don't even have the compound or the sizes you want as far as the circumference. So. That's not really been an issue, and hopefully it won't be an issue tonight. I think they did a good job of curing that piece, so hopefully we won't have an issue tonight.
Brian, let me ask you this, because some other driver told me this. You got to put a lot of lead on those tires to get them to balance.
Yeah, not even the rears, even the fronts. I mean,
I heard like 8 or 10 ounces of lead sometimes to get them to balance out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, and you got to balance the Hoosiers too. So there's not the Hoosier you can put them on. You don't.
Right.
You still got to balance them all. But Hoosiers you don't have to balance the fronts. I mean, the first time we put Goodyear fronts on, because they just made that mandatory this year, we went in the hot lap somewhere, and I thought, man, there's something wrong. I mean, you just imagine the worst vibration you've ever felt in your car at 140 mile an hour. I mean, it's definitely not good. But we've kind of figured that piece out and balanced our fronts and balanced our rears. And any of these tires, it's not just like a passenger car. You've got there's going to be some difference in the how they've been made, and you got to balance them. And that's a piece we've just become accustomed to. And my guys do a good job. And very seldom do we have a wheel that's out of balance.
Brownie, we're just about out of time here. I got to talk to you about 360 Nationals. Assess your performance there.
It's we had a rough qualifying effort. We didn't qualify. 35th was just nowhere near what we like to do. And I think the coolest part about the whole entire deal is my team. They after that I was kind of down, like, man, it just kind of puts a damper on your whole thoughts. You look for that race all year long, and then you get to it and qualify bad. It's like, gosh, now we're here all week and we're buried. And the cool part about it was when we got back, our crew just like, hey, let's stick together here, and we've got the best driver in the pit area, we feel. Let's go out and do our best. And to me, that gave me the confidence to go out and tell myself, hey, I'm not going to let these guys down. I'm going to do everything in my power to show them that they do got the best driver, and thanks for believing in me. And we went from 7th to 4th in my heat race to make the A, and then 19th to 2nd in the A, and then on our qualifying night, and then from 13th to the last spot on the last lap, and on to run 4th in the B, and then it went nonstop, and we went 24th to 8th. So I think we were probably one of the fastest cars the last after qualifying on, but Shane Stewart and Paul Silva, they did their job to put themselves in position to win that race. And I would love to have a couple yellows, but it didn't happen.
On your qualifying night, Brian, did you feel that you had a fastest car? Your car was as fast, I should say, as Shane Stewart's, because it took you a while to get up there. Unfortunately, there wasn't a yellow to where you could start behind him and try to make a run at him. But I think consensus was that you had the only car that had a chance to outrun Paul Silva's car. How did you feel about that?
Scott, that's a good question. You just never, you never know. I mean, it's clean air. The biggest thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get there and put a slider on him. Let him get up in the chair. Let him.
Put pressure on him.
It's easy to cruise around there and run the cushion. He did a good job. He didn't make any mistakes, but there's nobody that put an ounce of pressure on him. Let's put a slider on him and let's let him get up in the chair and see if he can handle it. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's nobody did that. And maybe next year we can get a shot, and and let's race. Let's put on a show for the fans, and maybe he might drive under me and drive way by straightaway. But let's put on a show and let's let somebody give him a shot. They did a good job. They're a strong team, but I want to knock him off the helm. I want a shot at him.
Right. All right. Before we let you go, I've got to ask you quickly, what do you think we're going to see tonight? What do you think your chances are to win? I
think you're going to see really good racing. I think that they're going to hit the track and the nail on the head on the track. You're going to see 2 grooves, maybe even a 3rd groove with some moisture being thrown into the center. I think you're going to see probably guys in the 3rd row, especially Donny Schatz is going to be really tough. I think you're going to see Sammy going to get in. He'll be in the top 10 after the first 25. I think you'll see Delansky lead it for a while there, and I think you'll see us right in the hunt. I really do. I think if I can be running, I'd love to be running second the first half, and then go do a little work. And if our car's fast enough to lead it, we're going to go lead it. But if it's not, we're not going to push the issue. And I really feel like, man, that we got a really good shot. And our engine builder, Charlie Garrett's got us really great engines. I feel like they're the best in the country. My guys are working really hard, and we got great partners: Casey's General Store, FVP, Searsboro, Impact. The list goes on and on. So I'm as excited as I've ever been and as confident as I've ever been. I think and even like when I was on the pole, man, I didn't sleep at all the night before, and I was nervous. Even right now, I couldn't. I was so nervous. It's like a calming feeling. Whatever happens. We've been in this spot now. And I feel like that's the biggest hurdle of this race is getting past that. It's the Knoxville Nationals, and you get so overamped of what it is, especially me as growing up as a kid here. I mean, a lot of people come here and, I think, like guys like Kyle Larson, I don't really think they understand what the Knoxville Nationals is. They hear about it, they come here, they race. He wins his first time, so it's obviously cool for him to do that. But as a kid growing up here at 4 or 5 years old and being here, man, I know what this race means. I know what it can do to your life and to your race team, and we're going to do everything we can. And it's we got a lot of people cheering for us, and we don't want to let anybody down. And I'm just really excited. And, we're going to do our best. And if that's a 3rd place car, we're going to win it. That's a 1st place car. We'll do that. If not, we'll come back next year and work just as hard to try to do it again next year.
All right, Brian. Good luck tonight. Hey, are we going to see you during Speed Week next week?
I think I'm going to make a couple. I'm not sure what. We just got to. I'm not sure what's going to go on next week. We just got to get through the night first, and if we win this thing, we might not race till next Sunday at the fair. So
I got you right.
But the question I think we're going to need to really ask here is: are we going to see you tonight? I think that's the $1 million question.
If I'm there, I'll make sure I come by and see you. How's that, buddy?
Gosh, you talk about a politician. That was a good. That was a good political answer there.
We do know this. There'll be a big There'll be a big celebration if you take that checkered
Yeah,
flag.
there definitely will be. And I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been a long-time supporter of me and, my race career and our race team. And you guys do just like this show. I mean, it does good to let our local people know where I'm starting and what's going on. And we really appreciate it. And you guys do a lot for our sport. And you guys don't get enough thanks. And I just appreciate what you guys do for us.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
That.
Appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Be safe, my brother.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Right. There's Brian Brown, Blackjack himself, and look for him to be a contender tonight. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines, 913-381-810-810, 913-381-810-810. We're going to talk a little NASCAR here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.